So I'm going to just introduce the team name and the solution, correct? Okay, so in alphabetical order, the team don't get scared. I'm not reading according to who performed best, okay? So it's just alphabetical order. We have APA, the Academic Personal Assistant, and APA is a digital platform that provides easy and instant access to academic documents and resources to students in higher institutions of learning who have a need to keep up to date with the results, deadlines, and assignments, helping them stay in sync with the institutional academic expectations. So that is APA, Academic Personal Assistant. Then Team 2, AutoPay. Okay. AutoPay is a web application that provides automated utility bills payment for people who usually forget to pay their bills in time, helping them avoid abrupt service disconnection inconveniences. Happens to most of us, right? Then we also have Team Elevation with a product called Kutayarisha, which means prepare in Kiswahili. Kutayarisha is a web-based platform that provides easy and quick access to prenatal maternity services and products to pregnant women throughout their maternity period. So the ladies in here, we have a digital platform in case you're planning to have babies soon, okay? Especially the young ladies. The next team that we have is eTrack Services. Now, eTrack has a web-based platform that enables seamless transport service for bulk property by linking truck drivers to customers. So the next time you're moving house, we have a digital solution that the participants in the hackathon have come up with, okay? Next up, we have the FinTech Devotee with the Beauty app. The Beauty app is a mobile application that will focus on selling and delivery of products in major cities across Uganda, starting with Kampala, right? So ladies, these are solutions that are being tailored to suit your needs, okay? We also have Funa House Property. Funa House Property is a mobile application for property listings that connects property owners to potential buyers, eliminating the need for brokers. You don't have to go through the hassle of contacting brokers and going around looking at houses to rent and so on. We already have a solution that this team is going to be working on. Next up, we have Go Green. Now, Go Green is a web-based crowdsourcing platform for climate change activists and environmentalists who have climate change solutions but lack the capacity, that is financial capacity, to solve the ongoing climate crisis. So they tell us they are here to ensure that climate change solutions are implemented. Next up, we have Haduka. Haduka is a web-based platform where women in business register for and own stores so that they start selling products online. Their intent is to avail more market to the ladies. Next up, we have Insure Wallet. Insure Wallet is a digital platform that provides quick and reliable, affordable insurance services to drivers and passengers in the transport sector. They realized that because of so many accidents that have been happening, accidents had become quite a concern for the nation, and Insure Wallet is hoping to design a solution that's going to help out in that area. We also have Izere Investment Platform, which is a mobile application designed to connect an investor and a local business to promote financial empowerment through investing in locally owned businesses. So they basically want to help people develop an investment culture by putting financial seed into small and medium enterprises. So still, you can look at women in that sector. So this is also a product that is tailored for women, especially. Then we have Jibu. Jibu is a digital solution where a buyer purchases an item and it's delivered upon payment with the use of any phone that accesses internet, including feature phones. It's an agri-based platform, so it's basically connecting wholesaler farmers to buyers. We also have Lands Resource, a team that came all the way from Kisoro. We're so proud of you. They have a product called Land Rent System, which is a digital marketing platform for both rural and urban landowners who need to lease their land to potential crop farmers. So if you ever, or if you've had the dream to farm but don't actually have the land to cultivate, you can always reach out to this amazing group. Okay, so Lands Resource. Then we also have Lima Pesa. Lima Pesa is a digital platform designed to help Uganda farmers to mainly access and manage their finances. These are also still in the agri sector. You can hear the name, the product name, Lima Pesa. So like dig money or dig for money. So loosely translated. Then we have Oliwa. Oliwa is an application that contains a digital wallet for pledges for both home and private events and public events. So these people help you manage your either private or public events, and also provide ticketing services. That is Oliwa. Next up we have Rental Pro. Rental Pro is a web-based platform that ensures landlords can manage and monitor their property from anywhere and anytime. So they're basically trying to get rid of the brokers still, okay, so that you don't have to incur extra costs when you're trying to find property listings in the urban centers. Then we also have Cellcare. Cellcare is a digital solution that offers flexible payments at zero interest to Ugandans who have trouble meeting their healthcare payments. So Cellcare is very passionate. They're like, why should you go to a hospital and because you don't have money you can't receive medical care? So they want you to be able to get the care and pay later. That is for people who struggle meeting their healthcare financial needs. Then we also have Team Sweno with a product called Wetase, which is a digital solution that helps Ugandans pay for utility bills on credit. Okay, so the teams are really thinking out loud and are really trying to solve issues that they've discovered or identified in their communities. So Sweno is about paying for utility bills on credit. So if you ever get stuck, there's going to be an application that's going to help you avoid the inconvenience of disconnections. Then we have Team Tawaza. Tawaza is a digital financial and savings platform that presents credit and provides a wide range of financial services for the unbanked, women and youth. So this is also another product that is being tailored for women. Then we have Tegeka. Tegeka is a digital platform that makes it easy for common success for individuals to make deposits, for SACCOs, not individuals, to make deposits, request loans, approve loan requests, choose leaders via SMS and online. So they are basically digitizing SACCOs. If you're in one, let them know that there is a solution for them. Then lastly, we have the Platter. The Platter is a digital solution for small to medium local businesses to help them scale through advertisement of their business and savings funds for investment. So those are the 20 teams that participated in the 3rd edition of the Women in FinTech Hackathon. Let's give them a round of applause. Yeah, thank you. Rita?
Thank you so much, Cleo. Applause for her, please, as she leaves. Thank you. Gentlemen and ladies in the house, thank you so far for coming. And everyone now has joined us from Urban TV because we are now live. It's time to tell a friend to join, to switch there, and also stream with Net Media and Hi People, because they're streaming on their social media platforms. That is YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, among others. Also, this initiative is fostering leadership and innovation and championing women empowerment. And the partners that are partnering with the Hi People, because Hi People has organized this in partnership with Level 1 Project, Modus Box, Cyber PLC Academy, Mojo Loop, Ideation Corner, Crosslake Technologies. I don't want to say Rita Cabanyoro. I am hosting this event. My name is Rita Cabanyoro. I'm the head of communications at Naiwan Studios. Naiwan Studios is a content creation space. After here, you're free to visit us and see what you can do with our space.
And I am hosting with Rita. My name is Viola Xasia. I am a news anchor, news reporter, and I'm also a presenter at Urban TV, Uganda.
Thank you so much for the applause you give us. And now, I know a lot have been wondering what are we going to have. Viola, please take us through what we're expecting via the program.
All right, so most of it is covered. We are going to have a couple of people speaking to us. And we are also live on Urban TV. Make sure to invite people to watch and also to watch live on our social media platforms. We have hosts introducing the Women in FinTech Summit on TV, which we have done. We have Women in FinTech Hackathon and Summit explained, partners and participants appreciated. First panel discussion is roles played by income and property, transaction costs, social and cultural norms, and supply-side barriers play in women financial inclusion. We have the state of women in FinTech in East Africa, the journey so far. Keynote speech by Princess Shamira Chimbugwe, the Pivot Payments Limited founder and MD. The second panel discussion is efforts to help in inspiring voices of women leaders in FinTech. The final pitches for top 5 teams for the hackathon. I think that's the moment we are all waiting for. Then we have the third panel discussion, which is closing the gender gap in access technology, skills, and usage of digital financial services. Then we also have winners unveiled and rewarded. We shall have the most active team, that's number 1. Number 2, the second runner-up. Number 3, first runner-up. Number 4, overall woman in FinTech hackathon winner. And I think that's the moment we actually can't wait for. And we have the speech by the guest of honor. We have live TV ends, lunch served, partner videos, and feature FinTech documentaries replayed. Media interviews will also follow. And then feel free to leave at leisure.
Thank you so much. And gentlemen and ladies, for now, let us get addressed about bridging private sector investment gap for women innovators. And that is a speech from Damali Sali, who is the Chief Programs and Project Officer at Private Sector Foundation, Uganda. Applause for Damali Sali.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good to see you. I last saw you last week on Friday, so I'm glad that I get to see you again, ladies and gentlemen. There seem to be more gentlemen here than I saw the last time, but happy to see you still at the Women in FinTech Hackathon. I was listening intently as Cleopatra was reading through the names of the teams, of the 20 teams, and I unfortunately, this year I was unable to be part of the panel, the evaluators who are evaluating them. But I like the ideas, at least the initial ideas that she spoke about. They are really, really interesting. I would have loved to listen to them, but I couldn't. But a team like Oliwa, which I've been told is pronounced Oliwa. Those are very, very interesting ideas. Jibu, there's one called Jibu. So these are the few that have just stuck in my head, actually, probably just because of the title of their names. But I think the ideas were great, as have been detailed by Cleopatra, and I'm looking forward, actually, to know more about the specific projects. So before I get into, I do have a presentation for you. And it's from Private Sector Foundation Uganda. I'm the Chief Programs and Projects Officer. I would like to introduce Private Sector Foundation Uganda to you. How many of you know about Private Sector Foundation? Do this, please. I can't see you. Oh, there are very few of you. Okay, great. So this won't be boring to you, because I'll be introducing Private Sector Foundation to you. But before I get into it, I would like to give special recognition and appreciation to high people, and especially the CEO, Innocent Kawoya, and his team. And this is because, yeah, thank you. Please, let's give them a clap. And this is mainly because, you see, a lot of people talk about women. They usually, will say women are not financially included, women are lacking here, women are lacking there. But they usually just talk. What High People does is that beyond talking, it's taking action. This Women in FinTech Hackathon has been taking place for the last 3 years in a row. It's been happening every year. I've been there from the first one, and each time I can see actual progress because the numbers are growing, the ideas are improving, and it's actual steps being taken, practical steps. So they don't give lip service to this whole thing about women, empowerment, women, support, women championing. They actually do something about it. That's why I think High People deserves a huge round of applause for that. Therefore, by extension, I would like to also thank the people who support High People. Oh, it's interesting, the people who support High People. The organizations that support High People, such as Modus Box, Cross-Lake Technologies, Cyber PLC, Moja Loop Foundation, the Ideation Corner, which is not on the logos, but it's part of the supporters. Because High People is partnering with these other organizations to make sure that we bring this to you every year, 3 years in a row. I'm looking forward to we celebrating the 20th year of Women in FinTech. Can you imagine that? How many... Yes, so I'll put this on Innocent Step and say we're looking forward to the 20th year of Women in FinTech, and it will be like 2 decades of Women in FinTech. And hopefully, my vision is that by then we will have women that will be able to say, Shamim Nirere started with the Women in FinTech, and bam, there she is with this massive Izere investment, and it's one of the largest investments in investment companies on the African continent or even the globe. Can you imagine in 20 years' time we'll be able to actually say that? So I'm looking forward to Innocent, you being able to take this through all the way to 20 years, and we will have explicit examples of women innovators, women entrepreneurs, women leaders, women techpreneurs who are really respected and across the globe. But now let me get into my introduction to you of Private Sector Foundation Uganda. It's because all of you are women entrepreneurs. You're entrepreneurial, you're innovative. Eventually, you're going to need Private Sector Foundation, even now, actually, because as I'll go into it, Private Sector Foundation, our main mission is actually to champion private sector development, which all of you are at. So Private Sector Foundation, which I'll probably abbreviate to PSFU, is 27 years old. We've been here since 1995. And our mission is to champion inclusive, sustainable private sector development in the country. We are an Apex organization, the umbrella body, and we are a business membership organization. So associations, the Apex associations in Uganda, are members or subscribe to become members of Private Sector Foundation Uganda. And we have over 300 members. And these members represent about 2.5 million businesses in the country. Also, PSFU is a local representative of the East African Community Business Council. So we represent Uganda's private sector at the East African community level. And then we are also a representative of the Common Market for Eastern and Southern Africa Business Council. Again, we represent Uganda's private sector at that level of COMESA. Furthermore, we are organized into 12 sector boards. So we divided up the economy into 12 sectors. These sectors are aligned to the way government organizes itself so that we can easily advocate for, represent the private sector. These sectors include financial services, which where most of the fintechs are. It includes information and communication technology, agriculture, forestry and agribusiness, construction and real estate, culture and creative industry, energy, mining, petroleum, oil and gas, manufacturing, professional services, tourism and hospitality, trade and commerce, transport and logistics, and human resources. But when you look at all those sectors, you will notice that technology is the oil in all those sectors. All those sectors can literally leverage technology, innovation, and new ways of thinking to become more sustainable, to become more profitable, to become more productive. So you are very much in the right space because you women techpreneurs, you women developers can actually develop anything to help all these 12 sectors because they all drive on that engine of technology to be innovative. The way we do our work is we, as Private Sector Foundation Uganda, we leverage our convening power because we've been here for 27 years. We leverage our credibility, which we've built over 27 years, to be able to represent, to engage, to advocate for, and build the private sector in Uganda. And we do that with the government of Uganda and also with other agencies. But also we do implement initiatives funded by donor partners, sometimes on behalf of government, to improve the business environment in Uganda to create jobs and wealth. So if you think of PSFU like an onion, our sphere of influence includes, so Private Sector Foundation at the core, which is the little box there, the core of the onion. And then as we go out, we represent our members, the 300 associations that I've told you about, and then the general private sector, because whatever we do actually does have an impact on the general private sector in the country, and therefore our sphere of influence extends to the general economy of the country. So that's our total sphere of influence. We particularly Private Sector Foundation Uganda focuses on the private sector because the private sector does contribute 50% to the national budget and contributes to over 90% of all non-farm jobs in the country. And the private sector is also dominated by micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises, which account for about 93% of all business establishments in the country. It includes your startups, so you may fall in the micro very soon, so we do represent you. In terms of contribution to the GDP, so the services sector contributes about 41%, agriculture contributes 24%, and industry contributes 26%. Bearing that in mind, or bearing in mind the fact that 70% of Uganda's population is below the age of 30 years, that is you. I think most of you are below the age of 30 years. And then also bearing in mind that women account in Uganda, women account for over 40% of all entrepreneurs in the country. That's the highest globally. And you're going to be part of this global statistic. And I want to appreciate you because it's very high. Also bearing in mind that 60% of all businesses in Uganda never make it to their second birthday. And that 40% of Uganda's population is still financially excluded. And also bearing in mind that over 90% of all payment transactions in our country are cash-based. We are a cash economy. So bearing all that in mind, Private Sector Foundation, through its development work, has designed several interventions over the years to support private sector development. Such interventions include our Young Africa Works lead farm structure, and in this intervention, funded by Mastercard Foundation, and it's been implemented over the last 3 years. We're continuing. It's a 5-year program. In this initiative, the beneficiaries, 70% of the beneficiaries must be women. Our other initiative is on skills and governance, and this one we focus on ensuring that young people who are just out of university less than 2 years, we skill them to give them the business skills and those soft skills that you need at a workplace. And then we also partner or pair them with an employer for at least 6 months. If they do well, they are kept. If they don't, at least they have the skills to start on their own. So our skills and governance initiative focuses 80% of those people we are skilling and partnering with institutions are women beneficiaries. And we do this in partnership with the European Union. Our third major initiative that is very relevant, we have more than these, but these I just try to get those that are relevant to mostly women, is our generating growth and opportunities for women entrepreneurs. This is purely 100% focused on women. It's beginning in November. It's a new initiative, it's a 5-year initiative, and it's purely focused on women entrepreneurs. So please look out for it because you're women entrepreneurs, and this is focused towards you. And it's funded by the government of Uganda and the World Bank. Our new initiative that is in design and is very relevant to you is the Pearl of Africa Instant and Inclusive Payment Switch. And we are designing it alongside the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Moja Loop Foundation, which you're very familiar with, High People, and several others. But it is in design phase. The reason why we are doing it is that you remember that statistic I told you that 90% of all transactions in our country are cash. And it's not due to a lack of technology or digital technology. It's because it's very expensive to actually transact using digital money. So people don't. So if you think about this lady in Kalere, a market woman in Kalere, who you go to that market and buy tomatoes of 10K, if you offer to pay her by mobile money, she will decline. She's more likely to decline. The reason she declines is that once she gets that money on mobile money, even if you pay that transaction cost initially, for her to buy the next thing, it will cost her a lot of money. It could be 500 shillings, but for her, that's a lot of money. So she prefers that you give her cash. And as long as that process continues, that those transaction fees continue, we will continue to have technology that can enable digital payments, actually nationwide digital payments, but we will not have usage of that technology because it's always very expensive, especially for people at the bottom of the pyramid. And these are the majority, and these are the ones we are supposed to be including. So this instant and inclusive payment switch that we're currently designing is trying to solve that problem, to ensure that all operators of digital money transact through one framework and therefore reduce the operating costs. This will allow this lady in Kalere to allow you to give her your 10K to buy her tomatoes. She can then pay some of that money to her microfinance at literally minimum transaction fees. She can pay a bank payment if she wants to. She can transfer some money to her daughter if she wants to, all at minimal payments, and it will be instant. So that's what the instant and inclusive payment switch is going to try to do. It's in design. We should be very excited about it. But it's going to be relying on Moja Loop technology because Moja Loop is one loop, one transaction, okay, I'm not a techie person, but one thing. And it tries to get all the players in the digital space at a national level in one system. And that is to ensure that those transaction fees are lowered, those operating costs are lowered. But also it allows innovators like yourselves to be able to innovate new systems or new solutions without the heavy cost of having an infrastructure for you to pay for that infrastructure yourself. It allows you to jump onto that. So it will also allow young innovators who don't have the big machinery of capital to be able to still play with the big guys or the big ladies in the same space. As long as you're most innovative, then you will be able to still compete. So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to design our look out for that. It's a big thing, it's a big project, and we want to actually thank some of the partners that we'll be partnering with, such as Moja Loop Foundation. And with those few words, I would like to thank you so much for listening to me. I hope you know more about Private Sector Foundation now. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And that was Damali Sali, the Chief Programs and Projects Officer at Private Sector Foundation Uganda, enlightening us more about how they're bridging the gap around investment for women innovators. Thank you so much, Damali Sali. And now what is next? We're going for our very first panel. And why this panel? We're actually looking at the ability of women and girls to act individually and collectively is very crucial to improving women's financial inclusion. However, factors like income, poverty, transactional cost, social cultural norms, financial supply side barriers play a part in dedicating women financial inclusion. Or actually, we're going to look at, if you don't believe in that, the panel will be actually highlighting for us whether that can actually be true. Also, it seeks to understand the roles that they play. Now, speaking of the roles and factors, we look at factors like income, poverty, transactional costs, social and cultural norms, supply barriers, and how they really play in women financial inclusion. Gentlemen and ladies, coming on the podium are the panelists. Sandra Namazi, who is a business development manager at Tunes. We have Charlotte Neza, who is the High People FinTech's event manager. We have got Lynn Tuke, who is the Center Head of Marketing and Communications. Winfred Nandaula is the Initiative Regional Programs Director at Tawaza, and Evelyn Nakanoaji, who is the Insurer Wallet Team Leader. As we wait for Winnie to take up her space, gentlemen and ladies, these are my panelists. They're going to help us understand the roles, what factors, the factors, like I said earlier, of income, poverty, transactional cost, social and cultural norms, the supply side barriers, how do they affect women financial inclusion, and how you can actually act by those factors, not to be actually limited. Thank you for joining me this morning. Let's begin with Sandra highlighting for us with clear examples what are social and cultural norms. We want the people to understand here what we're speaking about. Thank you.
Hello. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming. So, social and cultural norms. These are settings that we have put for ourselves as individuals, as a society, as a business, that end up hindering either our growth or movement into something we want to do. So these are typically barriers that limit people, individuals, businesses from growing and being something better.
Okay, thank you so much, Sandra. Winfred, when we speak about transactional costs, what can people take home as?
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Transactional costs are costs that are incurred in any exchange of goods, services, the costs that you incur that enable someone to fulfill a transaction between businesses, between persons and customers. That is what a transaction cost is.
Thank you so much. Let me cross to Charlotte there to let us know the supply side barriers with clear examples. Explain to us.
Okay, hello everyone. So before I tell you about the supply side barriers, I would like to mention the suppliers. Who are the suppliers? Now, these are the key players in the financial ecosystem. And the barriers are inappropriate products, complicated processes, the distance, mobility of these financial institutions to the people.
Okay, thank you so much, Lynn. Lynn Tuke there from Sente. In some setting, women still find it very hard to own property, and then later we see the savings still coming to be limited. Take us through the income and property issue and how it affects actually women in financial inclusion.
Thank you, Rita. So the reality is, in most societies, especially in the African setting, women are less likely to take part in inheritance, and you'll find this in conservative cultures where it's such a big deal to actually fight for what is yours if you're a woman. Like, it literally takes a tooth and nail. And when that happens, it means if you can't inherit land, that means you can't till your land. You have to depend on someone else to give you access to money, to take care of the family, take care of the kids, food. And what happens is you work for basic needs, and the thing there is, as a woman who is trying to make ends meet, first of all, with the basic needs, it just comes hard for them to think that they can actually participate in formal finance like savings, investment, and that, among other things, is a big bottleneck.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm going to pose the same to Evelyn. What do you think about the income and property issue? When women, don't have enough savings, they get to save. What do you think of that?
Thank you very much. About that, the major source of income to the ladies or to the women is agriculture. Agricultural money is seasonal. It being seasonal, it means it's not reliable. So you can't rely on it, and that pushes you too low. Because if you have unreliable income, it is very hard for you to involve in financial transactions.
Thank you so much. And we're still discussing the roles, or what roles do factors like income, property, transactional costs, social and cultural norms with supply side barriers play in the women in fintech or women financial inclusion. But for Sandra and Winfred, if you could share with us, because we have a lot of issues that social and cultural norms have a very historical perspective to them. Take us through the history of these issues and how they can still continue to affect women in financial inclusion. I'll begin with Sandra. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rita. So historically, we have come to know that in some cultures, especially in Southeast Asia, women are barred from having mobile phones. Imagine in this era, this digital era, a woman being refused to have a mobile phone because they think she's spending time on social media, sending chats that are irrelevant, literally, in quotes, wasting time. So norms that are limiting women, in particular, from getting to their full potential is a hindrance, it's preventing women from getting to their full potential. Right now we know, especially with COVID that just hit 2 years ago, social media was the way to learn, even for primary kids, even in Uganda, Africa. So these historical mindsets, I believe we should move from that and get to our full potential, especially as women. And I look forward to seeing women in this room, empowering women all over the world, one way or another, to come out of the cultural norms. And also, especially for the leaders of our societies. Can we know that there is more to just chatting and sending Snapchat to growth and doing business on mobile, on Facebook? We see that people are trading on Facebook, even in China, where mobile is a gadget for trading, but not for social interaction as it's governed by the government. We should move away from that and empower women all over the world to use technology, not only to grow business, but even themselves as individuals.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm just wanting you to be more clear on when you mentioned that moving away from cultural norms. If you could maybe supplement or defend yourself on that. I don't want us to feel like we are trying to erode away some cultures, but what exactly should we pick out from that?
Okay, so I'll give an example. I'll move away from mobile and go to saving. Okay, so in most cultures, we've seen women save, but the saving is not structured. I believe most of us in this room know about Niginas, the VSLs. Yeah, women are saving their money, but there is actually, I was listening to a radio program and a gentleman had to confess that he stole the wife's saving box. So in culture, you know, in most cultures, women are not expected to save, to grow their finances, and in that itself, women are left behind.
Okay.
That is a very clear example. My husband shouldn't steal my money. He should support me to grow my business.
Thank you so much. At least we've gotten a perspective there. Thank you so much. Let me cross to Winfrey. What do you think about that? The history and the issues and how how they continue to still affect women in financial inclusion.
Thank you, Rita. To add my voice to Sandra, it is true that historically women have been put in a position where they don't make decisions when it comes to finances. They're not allowed to take the lead on things like savings for the family. They may be allowed to keep for, but not make the decisions in the home. And that is very prevalent, well, that has been very prevalent in sub-Saharan Africa, which includes also East Africa and most of our neighboring countries. If you take a look at the uptake of savings accounts, most women are not saving money are not taking up digital accounts, they're not taking up bank accounts even with traditional banks, simply because the crossing over to allow her to own her own account and take control of it, be able to go and put money in and save for a particular reason, it is not yet very visible for them.
Okay, thank you so much, Winfred. Ladies, we have less than 10 minutes, so we help each other speed up in these remaining minutes. Thank you so much. Lynn, how can we change these social and cultural norms in order to improve women in financial inclusion?
Yeah, so the aspect of culture is, well, we'd need to do a bit of sensitization there. Culture does not mean we are less equal than men. So we need to have equal opportunity. So there needs to be education on that. I have seen very many accelerator programs come up just to empower women to just come up with women-led businesses, for example, teach them with financial values, for example, savings, investment, insurance, and we are all seeing there is a bit of a trend when it comes to financial inclusion. We're seeing MTN Momo. That means if I'm a woman and I'm operating a business, at least I have a place where to keep my funds. And then you have the associations in the villages. You have, for example, the government initiative on Emyoga. Women are literally being taught how to save in groups because saving in turn helps them in the future for their children. So the narrative that the woman in the household is only to pay for basic needs is slowly going away because we also see that there is need to actually invest in a lifetime solution for the kids.
Okay.
And not just for sensitization.
Thank
but,
you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Aline. Charlotte, you talked to us earlier about the side barriers. How do supply side barriers actually impact women financial inclusion? Now, if you could tell us more on how to address this issue.
For starters, the key players involved who are in the financial ecosystem, they should carry out sufficient research and survey and see what it is that is needed to enable these people, the women and the least included, like the PWs and the youth whom we have in this room. And then they should keep continuous engagement to see what they are doing, what they have researched, what the survey they have done, has it been carried out. For example, you know that most women are limited. We don't have enough documentation, especially those in the village. So for someone who is in the rural area going to the bank and they are asked all this documentation that is needed, LC1 later, the KYC that is all involved, why should they be asking this? This woman has the national ID. It should be sufficient. So if the policymakers and regulators could put this in place and reduce the KYC that is required.
Okay, since I have my national ID, I think you know everything about me, really. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Let me cross to Winfred. How can we address the issue of income? Then we have property and transactional costs in order to have more women on board.
To have more women on board, with playing in the space where there's income and property issues that keep surrounding there, we need to have more trainings coming up for the women to be able to have target savings where they can get some more income saved for them, own some property, and also look at issues like training for women leadership so that there are other women among them that have made it past the barrier lines that come back to encourage those that are down there. It's sort of like a peer influence that is very transformative. So we need to have more norm-transformative techniques to get the women in the space of fintech and savings and income.
Thank you
more
so
properties.
much. Thank you so much, Winfrey. I really commend what you just said, but also it's important to consider what are we training these ladies, what are we giving to them? And now, Evelyn, what should be the contribution of men? I don't want us to leave them behind towards this journey on addressing these bottlenecks.
Thank you very much. Men can play a big part. That is, for the married men, they can open up joint accounts. You don't have to own an account leaving your woman alone. So when you have a joint account, give the lady a chance to also bank the money, withdraw the money, and also make transactions. Also, men can participate in illiteracy programs whereby they're educating women. They go down there, teach the women and educate them. Also, sensitizing them and organizing for them workshops. Some women are not aware. So you organize workshops for them as a man to empower them and increase their involvement in financial transactions.
Thank you so much. I will now cross to Charlotte, but before I just want to add something. With joint accounts, I hope you are very well committed to each other. No fights all the time and you have to withdraw that money. Charlotte, how do Level 1 project principles help addressing these issues, these factors, or these bottlenecks and playing into the field of everyone getting involved in the fintech?
Okay,
you have 1 minute for that.
Thank you so much, Rita. The Level 1 project is an initiative of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Financial Services for the Poor. So they have principles such as tiered KYC, same-day settlement, accessibility, affordability. So all these ones, if the developers and innovators could include these in the products and the solutions that they are developing, they are going to help make financial services accessible to the least people. That I mean the last mile man, I mean the women, the PWs, the youth, and those ones who are currently not able to access these services.
Thank you so much. I like the way you're keeping time. Sandra, what else can be done on this?
Well, thank you so much, Rita. I believe we need to do more training. Even at a grassroots level, we can train those women. We've seen that women are very cooperative, so we can train women. There are organizations like the GSMA, UNCDF, World Bank Group that have gone ahead to do this in different countries across the globe, even here in Uganda. And we've seen it even to the lowest level of the persons of concern, the refugees. So we can train women, we can empower women, we can even teach the children, you know, the future of this country is in the youth. So let us do a lot of collaboration, training, and again, let every woman in this room empower a woman out there in the village.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sandra. This panel was addressing the roles played by income and property, transactional costs, social cultural norms, and supply-side barriers, what they play in the women financial inclusion. Coming up now is, Princess Shamira Chimbugwe to address the Pivot Payment Limited. But before that, maybe you have to hear from Viola. Ladies, follow me for a picture moment.
Thank you very much, Rita. Thank you so much. Another round of applause for the team. Awesome. So for the next 15 minutes, we shall be indeed hearing from Princess Shamira Chimbugwe, the Pivot Payments Limited founder and managing director. So before that, let me just give you a brief biography about her. And then she'll be coming up the stage to speak. I hope she's around. So a Ugandan female and graduate of law, Makerere University, and holds a certificate in intellectual property from World Intellectual Property Organization. With over 14 years experience in the financial tech industry, she has risen through the ranks in various organizations. She served as country director in Cellulant Uganda, subsidiary of Cellulant Corporation, True African Uganda and Kenya as the business development manager, and developed the PayLeo brand, a merchant payment solution with a maiden deployment at Barclays Bank then, presently known as ABSA, serving outbound and inbound payments. Prior to this, she worked at Mcash Uganda as head of operations and later as head of agent banking, leading the team that developed the agency banking business arm, which was first deployed to DFCU Bank. A fintech strategist, founder and managing director of Pivot Payments Limited, the first female-founded and managed licensed fintech in Uganda. Pivot is building a pan-African neobank serving export labor force users who have typically been financially exploited and excluded. Pivot Pay currently serves more than 250,000 users and has processed more than 2 million transactions within its 3 years of operation. Oh my God, that's such a profile. So let's welcome Shamira, everybody. Princess Shamira, oh, she's right there. I was worried for a minute she wouldn't show up. We really need to hear from her. So the next 15 minutes, let's hold still.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Shamira. Just give me a moment. This is very emotional for me. My name is Shamira, and I am the founder of Pivot Payments Limited. We have been the first female-founded fintech to be fully licensed by the Central Bank of Uganda. Thank you very much. We are the first female-founded fintech in Uganda, again, to have an ISO certification and a PCI DSS certificate. Regulation is very important for me because it literally drives the growth of the business. Pivot Payments was born out of the need to serve especially the migrant workers that are going to the Middle East. We all know that this is a very problematic demographic or customer segment. What we do is we provide a fully fledged financial service platform for these individuals where they can save, send, or spend their money. They have a common customer touch point, which is a mobile application, which is available on Play Store and iOS. We're currently serving 250,000 customers. So my duty today is, first of all, to talk about women in fintech and also how we can impact the industry. I would like to demystify the theory or the thinking that women cannot be worthy players in the industry. I am living proof. I will address this in 5 elements, looking at women as consumers, looking at women as innovators, looking at women as investors, looking at women as regulators, and lastly, looking at women as leaders. Before you can be a leader, you must decide where in the value chain you lie. So let's talk about a woman as a consumer. When you look at the demographic or when you look at the market sizing of fintech, you're looking at a potential industry of $2 trillion that is across the world. However, when you look at the products that are tailored for women, they take less than 0.001% of that. The biggest sufferers as consumers or lack of products tailored for women is the sub-Saharan African area. And why is that? Of course, the common concept or principle is pricing. But from our experience as people serving this demographic, we realize that pricing is the last issue. The biggest problem suffered by women is security and safety, especially in Africa. And when we're talking about security and safety, we're not looking at someone safeguarding their money. That's an entirely different requirement. We are looking at accessibility. We are looking at no one else being able to access their funds from their family units. And so when you're doing product development and looking at the woman as a customer, you must look at, one, the demographic of this person. So just quick statistics are 64% of the consumers of fintech are women. Why? Because the nature of a fintech product is a low or downsized or downgraded product that is able to serve a rural woman. You're looking at a demography of 22 years to 38 years. You're looking at most of them being informally employed. You're looking at all of them being highly liquid, so they need somewhere to keep their money safe. You're looking at education averaging at UCE level. You're looking at peri-urban to rural areas, residing or economic occupation. You're looking at limited mobility. And lastly, you're looking at control from spouse. So when you're doing any product that is going to serve this demography, you must put that at the back of your mind. And therefore, you give a product that is very simple. You give a product that is very secure, in that you give this person the last mile access or the last authority to access their system. So where is the place for women as consumers in this market? And what are the products that take the high ranking? Obviously, when we talk about security, we're talking about savings. So savings is the #1 product that should be provided to women. The second one is loans, as the highest ranking product, which takes up to 48%. Why loans, and why specifically microloans? It is because women by nature are enterprising. I think, Doctor, you can agree with that. When you look at the statistics of how many businesses are owned, even if you just do simple research, the market vendors, more than 60 or 70% are women. When you look at informal trade, more than 60% are women. So these are consumers, and this is a ready market. So as consumers, and if you're addressing the need for these customers or for this demography, what are you looking at when you're providing a loan product? The fact that we know that it is informal trade that they're mostly employed in. Your product must speak to ease of accessibility of these loans. And when I speak about ease, I am talking about how quickly it is someone can access a loan. That is, how easily can I request for a loan? So I must be able to request it from wherever I am. Number two, the requirements for the loan. If you're looking at the formal financial sectors, the requirements for loans sometimes are on the brink of asking them to bring their grandmothers. The list is this long. Yes? Bring this, bring that, sign here, sign there. If you're trying to provide security and safety to this woman who is investing, and you're asking for a spousal signature or consent, the purpose is then lost. Because if I'm going to sign to the loan, half the time, the research shows they are told, as soon as you get the loan, I want half of it. Yes? So we agree that if I've been given $100 for a loan, I only have 50% of $50 to use. And already that puts me in a negative position with my loan discipline. So when you're building these products as hackathons or as future industry players, safety, security, ease of access of loans should be at the forefront. The third and most used requirement for fintech products is living and health. So when the child is sick, it's usually the responsibility of the mother, both physically, mentally, and financially. Only 20% is taken to the father. What that means is while the women are liquid, and while they have some sort of access to capital, and while they invest, most of their money goes into healthcare and home living. So there is a need for fintech products that address insurance, specifically health insurance, and more specifically, micro health insurance. Today, when you look at the companies that are providing insurance, if you're looking at the statistics in Uganda, it's less than 1% of insurance customers. Out of the 46 million, we can all do the numbers, it's less than 500,000. But everybody gets sick, and everybody needs health care. So in countries where healthcare or national health insurance is not a policy or is not a ready, available policy, even if it's in the offing, access to that insurance is not easy. Access to healthcare insurance is specifically expensive, with the lowest product being about $200. Therefore, the access and the cost of access to healthcare is still a virgin area that you can explore. I will move on to the second segment, which is women as investors in the fintech space. The other day we were in the hackathon session, and when I listened to most of you pitch, one thing was very clear. Your market sizing is still problematic. And therefore, you're not clear on the amount of investment you require. I can tell you that if you had one woman put up $1 million in Africa, it's going to be hard. But if you had 100,000 women save $1 every month for 10 months, how much money would you have? So women as investors can pool together to invest in these opportunities. There is, however, an underlying problem. There's lack of trust when investment has been pooled. There's the issue of taxation, which is an animal that drags down companies. There's the issue of bookkeeping. So while you're going out there to present your products, to present your services, to look for investors, the safest bet is women. While they are averse to risk, they are more pragmatic and therefore will listen, and half the time will invest better, if not bigger than men. Men are quicker, but not big investors. But women as a pool can invest. So what do you need to address if you're looking at women as a pool of investors? You need to have social conscious products. And what do I mean by having a social conscious product? If you're looking at a product like health insurance, that's a product that someone can easily invest in. When you're looking at your investment and you're pooling, you're looking at the sheer number of people who can be served on the product. So how robust your product grows is very crucial. I specifically tailored this talk to the hackathons today because you're readying yourselves to put out products on the market. And definitely you will require investment. So you need to have clarity on the type of offering that your product has. The third element is women as innovators. And I'll always say that the world has been led by innovation done by women. And I'll tell you why. When you look at the home setting, there's little things women do to survive. Little solutions that we do. But we all know that all the little things that we do are what moves the world. So in innovation, women pay attention to a couple of things. When they're innovating for solutions, they're looking for an impactful solution, but they're also looking at a cost-friendly solution. When you're innovating, you must be underlyingly solving a problem. We know that we have the ability to identify a problem, and therefore we can address the problems. The statistics show that some of the available opportunities in innovation in fintech include remittance, include savings, include agriculture, include fashion. You know that fashion is big and a very huge industry, billions of dollars. So they also include medicine, they include food, they include entertainment.